Hello students, today we are going to see the ninth episode of the lesson electrostatics. Shall we move to the lesson? First of all, today equipotential surface. What do you mean by this equipotential surface? Let me show a example for you. See, this is a equipotential surface. All points in the surface of a sphere are at same potential. You can see here A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J all have equal and same potential. And the definition is the electric potential at all points on the surface of the given sphere is the same. Such a surface is called an equipotential surface. An equipotential surface is a surface on which all the points are at the same potential. Here in A and B and C and D, it have same potential. There is no difference in potentials. Now, what are the properties of equipotential surfaces? First one, the work done to move a charge Q between any 2 points. Already we know in the electric dipole we use A and B as a dipole. Here the work is done to move the charge Q between the points A and B. So the work W is equal to Q into VB minus VA. Okay, if the point A and B lie on the same equipotential surface, that means see here you can see A and B are lie on a same equipotential surface. Work done is 0 because VA equal to VB. The electric field, the second property is the electric field is normal to an equipotential surface. If it is not normal, then the work must be done to move a charge between 2 points. Okay, the work must be done to move a charge between the point A to point B or point B to point C on the same surface. This is a contradiction. I know you all know what do you mean by contradiction. Therefore, the electric field must always be normal to equipotential surface. Next one, relation between electric field and electric potential. And I think you all know the term electric field and the term electric potential. Okay, now consider a positive charge Q which is kept fixed at the origin. To move a unit positive charge by a small distance dx in the electric field E, the work done is given by dW is equal to minus E into dx because we are moving the charge against the repulsion force. So it should have a minus effect. That's why we put minus here, a negative effect. The minus sign implies that work is done against the electric field. This work done is equal to electric potential difference. Therefore, dW, the work done is equal to the electric potential, and the electric potential dV is equal to minus E into dx. Hence, if you take E as a right left hand side, then you can put this dV divided by this dx. Therefore, E is equal to minus dV by dx. Then the electric field is the negative gradient of the electric potential that we know from this point. And in general, E vector is equal to minus derivative of V by dx into I cap plus derivative of V divided by derivative of Y into J cap plus derivative of V divided by derivative of K into K cap. Now electrostatic potential energy. What do you mean by this electrostatic potential energy? Let me explain. Electrostatic potential energy for a system of charges is equal to the work done to arrange the charges. It's very hard to arrange the charges within the electrostatic field. So it needs some sort of energy to arrange. That's called electrostatic potential energy. Now, electrostatic energy density. What do you mean by that energy density? See, already you know energy is can be measured in many ways, but the density, the energy stored per unit volume, okay, which is stored per unit volume of space, is defined as the energy density. UE, electrostatic energy density, is equal to U by volume, whatever the volume may be. Next one, electric flux. What do you mean by the electric flux? It's a very important one. See, let us consider this as a rectangular box. Okay, if sometimes lot of electric fields move through this, electric lines move through this, we will take only the electric lines which passes through this rectangular box, which is called electric flux. The range which moves into the box or certain area. Likewise, in this picture, you can see the lines moving into the box and comes out straight. The number of electric field lines crossing a given area which is kept normal to the electric field lines is called electric flux. It is usually denoted by the Greek letter pi. Its unit is Nm square C minus 1. Electric flux is a scalar quantity which does not have any direction and it can be positive or negative. Obtain Gauss law from Coulomb's law. Okay, it's very important features about the Gauss law. Here you can see this is a spherical shaped shell and there is a charge Q plus charge which is present in the middle, and the distance from the plus Q to the outer surface is small r, and this is a which we take a small portion of this electric field to measure, which is taken as dA near the electric field. Now let's move to the lesson. A positive point charge Q, okay, is surrounded by an imaginary sphere of radius r. This is an imaginary sphere of radius r. This is we have to imagine. Okay, the electric field is not, we cannot see it by our naked eyes. Only we have to imagine that electric field is around a conductor or a charge. We can calculate the total electric flux through the closed surface of the sphere using the equation. Okay, we can calculate the electric flux which the electric field lines are moving to this electric field, which is pi E is equal to a closed integral E dot dA, which is equal to closed integral of E dA cos theta. Students, remember this is called closed integral. As you know, this is integral, but this is closed integral. We will see this about in the fourth lesson. Okay. Now, the electric field of the point charge is directed radially outward at all points on the surface of the sphere. You can see here the electric field is radially outwards. Therefore, the direction of the area element dA is along the electric field E, and theta is equal to 0 degree. Therefore, pi E is equal to closed integral E dot dA, which have the cos value 0 degree, therefore it is 1. This is the equation number 1. Now, E is uniform on the surface of the sphere. Altogether, if you consider the whole surface, the E value is uniform in the all the full sphere that I explained you in the equipotential surface already. Then pi e is equal to e, we can take the e outward, the outside of the integral, and we have to integral only the dA. This is the equation number 2. Substituting integral, closed integral dA is equal to 4 pi r square, which is the value of area of circumference. Okay, because we here have dA, 4 pi r square, substitute the value of 4 pi r square instead of dA. Therefore, E into closed integral of 4 pi r square. If you integral the value of r square, then we get E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square. Right? Yeah. Now, this is in equation 2, we get, from the equation 2 we get pi E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square into 4 pi r square. If you substitute the value, this value in equation 2, that means the value of E, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square in this equation E, then we can cancel the 4 pi and r square. Only we will have q by epsilon 0. Q by epsilon 0 is only the left things, which is considered as the equation number 3. The above equation is Gauss law. Okay, this is called the Gauss law. And now the Gauss law states that if a charge q is enclosed by an arbitrary closed surface, that I explained you using the equipotential surface. Let me tell that again. If a charge q is enclosed by an arbitrary closed surface, then the total electric flux pi e through the closed surface is pi e is equal to closed integral of E dot dA is equal to q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Q enclosed. Thank you, students. I think by next class we will finish the lesson 1. I hope you all are easy with this first lesson. If you understand the electrostatic very well, then it will be easy for you to understand all the lessons in this 12th standard. Okay, let's see today.